man. This crew called Hoop Jargon. They've been getting at it, man. They the ones that's gonna grill you, man, because they majority are all Houston people. So that's
shout out to Hoop Jargon.
Man, I'm here with my man with Hoop Jargon, the best in the game, man. And you know I only let selected few in my circle. And this is the real dude right here. We gonna get down with the get down.
Straight No Chaser Cowboys podcast back again. Ladies and gentlemen, how you doing? It is a glorious day. God has bestowed upon us. The Dallas football Cowboys will be on the field today with a renewed sense of positivity, let me say. And so, gentlemen,
fair enough.
What's up, man? How y'all feeling?
Hey now, what's happening, man? What up? What up? What up?
Yes,
another
sir.
Cowboys win to talk about. How about that?
Man, we didn't think this season would be projected this way a few weeks ago.
Nope.
Well,
Didn't predict that on this show.
Nope. When things are bad, they don't always go the way that we think they're gonna, and likewise when they're good. So we're built around going 9-7, 8-8, 10-6, and then failing. So I'm not surprised, to be honest, that the season's going this way, because it just seems to be the mantra for this organization is start off fast, start off early, exceed expectations, and then underperform in playoffs. So until we are successful on a consistent basis in the playoffs, we'll continue to hear the same type of commentary from us as it pertains to this franchise. But they're just not built. That's just my opinion.
You know, what they call it, like falling up. Like we're falling up, and that's cool. You know, because again, given the circumstances, I definitely didn't see us to be in the position, but we are where we are, so we're gonna evaluate what we saw. So with that being said, is it Cooper Rush Mania time yet, dude?
Well, for the affiliates, it is. I mean, it's. I imagine that the fresh fade count in Dallas went up threefold last week. I heard, some retail outlets like Target and Walmart were out of jean shorts. Anything over medium, they out. Yeah, all the XLs, double XLs, they sold out in record time. They got everything on back order. But yeah, man, I mean, that's why I wanted to start, Cliff. No doubt. I mean, and for those of us of a certain age that have been watching this thing for a long time, I was thinking about this coming into the show today, man. The backup quarterback story in this town is amazing. And I'm gonna really date myself, man. I'm going back to the Clint Longley days.
Wow.
When Roger Staubach, beloved as Roger Staubach was out for a bit, and Clint Longley comes in, on Thanksgiving Day game, has a great game, throws a bomb late to Drew Pearson, and they win the game, and it's Clint Longley, man. Bro, this is Roger Staubach. You know what I'm saying? Who's already, they be like a bunch of 12-win teams, whatever else. Roger Staubach. And it was nuts. Then you go when Danny White was doing his thing, and then when Gary Hogaboom was doing his thing. I can go down the line and down the line. The backup when
Dak Prescott did his thing.
The backup quarterback story in this town is amazing.
It doesn't take much to become a Dallas Cowboys backup quarterback folklore legend. Yeah. I mean, for crying out loud, there's a Thanksgiving Day game with Jason Garrett.
That's exactly where I was going. Jason Garrett, shining moment in this town was, and there was Jason Garrett man here for 2 weeks.
We got a little delay, y'all. We got a little delay going. Go ahead, Rich. I think you're delaying.
I'm saying that seems to be the mantra for the team. Outside of Aikman and Staubach, everyone else has been, some type of quarterback story. But let's cut the bullshit here. Cooper Rush is not a starting quarterback in the NFL. No. He isn't. He doesn't have the talent. He doesn't have the capability. I will tell Grandma Cooper. I will tell Uncle Junebug Cooper. I will tell Mr. Cooper, Mark Cooper, from hanging with Mr. Cooper. The man is not an NFL caliber starting quarterback. He's a serviceable backup. He's extended his career through his performance through his games. So he'll get re-signed to some type of extension, or some other team may be interested in him in free agency. His ceiling is a bridge quarterback. So let's not get ahead of ourselves. I know there's a lot of people already invested there. A lot of affiliates see it too. Let's go ahead and tell them right now.
So you're saying it's not Cooper Rush mania yet?
He's doing a good job behind time for Prescott to come back. Now they say to come back as early as against the Rams. I think he's going to sit that game out. Well, I think he'll be ready, but they'll have him sit that game out and then bring him back against Philadelphia.
I agree.
Yeah, so Rich, I was saying, so you saying it's not Cooper Rush mania time yet?
No.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna put my shirt on.
We found our backup quarterback for the next 3 to 5 years, unless he leaves a free agency.
Yeah, I mean, you have that faction. You already got these folks like, man, if he wins another one, another two, you know, I've read it online. I've read it on, you know, different blogs, whatever. I mean, it is natural because he's winning. They 3-1. It's you know, it's a little bit of mania already started, Cliff. And to extend Rich's point, let's be clear. He's not better than Dak Prescott. Stop that shit.
Right.
Please stop that. For all you affiliates out there, it's like, man, if he comes back and the whole trying to stir the controversy. There is no controversy. Dak is injured, and the guy has, you know, he's giving him, to use another baseball analogy, he's giving him 2 strong innings.
Right.
He's giving them 2 strong innings. But guess what? You know, relief pitchers, when you overextend them past their capabilities, they get blocked. They get exposed. So, you know, let's hope this thing, if he gets through this game today, which I know we're gonna talk about, and they get to 3-1, hey, 3-1 is 3-1. But let's tap race, and like Rich said, count him for what he is.
20 game sports, man.
A viable backup.
As great as he was, Mariano Rivera would never have been a starter in Major League Baseball. That's just his thing.
Great point.
He's good at coming in a serviceable role when needed, when called upon. But in terms of moving a franchise forward, that's not him. If anything, what we're learning from this experience is that we got a huge question mark on Dak's ability to move the franchise forward, which on this show, we've been questioning all last year. So, if anything, it highlights the fact that Prescott's got issues moving things forward in spite of. So, this is when he comes back, he's going to have to answer the question as to whether or not he's capable of moving his franchise forward. If it's not, then you need to figure out what your option is. Get knocked out to the market and find other potential franchise. But the damn sure Cooper Rush is not going to yeah, that's all it's going to.
Yeah, I think I kind of mentioned this week too. I was like, man, Dak, don't make me turn on you. Because at the end of the day, man, that story is getting stale about Dak and, you know, his perseverance and how he's just such a moxie motivator guy. But we watched him on Sundays, and man, listen, making bad decisions. Now, I understand sometimes, you know, our O-line, which is shaky at best, is, you know, leading those opportunities to happen. But when it's times when Dak can just make a simple play, he's either gun shy or he's just making just a horrid pass. And it's just like, dog, you're doing this year 6? Like, what the hell is that?
Yeah.
Cool. And it may be because, like you said, he's a little gun shy because he doesn't want to mess up. And you know, he looks like a freshman on varsity. I watched Ronnie James play when he was on varsity at Sierra Canyon when they played Duncanville in Dallas. And Ronnie played damn near a perfect game, but at the same time, he didn't look good because he did everything he's supposed to do. He guarded, he passed the ball well, he spaced well, and he looked like a, you know, you can look at the game and say, damn, you know, Ronnie gonna beat somebody. Now, if you're looking at it from a projection standpoint, like, I don't see nothing yet. He didn't mess up. So Cooper Rush looks like a freshman on varsity. He's just doing what has to be done. He's not necessarily asserting himself. So I'm gonna like Darren said, I'm gonna tap brakes before I start, you know, Cooper mania. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt. And so a guy with 20 game sports brings up a great point, which is why I want to go, which is why I think why Cooper Rush is doing as well as he's doing.
Okay.
And that's the balance between the balance of the run game and the use of the run game helping rush out of third and long situation. I think that's a terrific point. And it actually segues into something I want to bring up to the show today, because I brought that up in the intro that I posted online about, has Dallas finally found a way to properly balance and use Dak and Zeke? I have right here, if I intended to send this to you, but I'll go ahead and share it. So Zeke had 15 carries in the game last week, 73 yards, 4.9 yards per carry, and a rushing TD. Solid production. Pollard had 13 carries and 105 yards, rushing yards, and 8.6 yards. They can get 28 to 30 carries out of that duo and get that kind of production, which I think they can. Not only do I think that they will help Rush do that and be successful today, I think that's the formula they need to ride when number 4 comes back, to be perfectly honest with you. Because I think if you give number 4 that type of run game to play off of with play action, now that you got Michael Gallup coming back and CeeDee Lamb, these emerging tight ends, and you're giving these O linemen confidence because you're letting them get off the ball and utilize them in the run game. They're actually doing fairly decent in pass pro. So I think that's the formula, even when Dak comes back, to stick with. Not just that they're helping Cooper Rush. I think this is the formula for success for 2022, period. Shorten the game, keep them out of third long. Don't really put it in, Dak's hands to overthink it or make rush decisions like you said, Cliff, and then let that defense eat and give them more opportunities to do that. I think that's the formula going forward for winning. 22. What y'all think?
The 2017, 18 Rams, anybody? With the impotent Jared Goff in the run game with Gurley and your boy Anderson.
Yeah,
I believe.
Yeah. Anderson.
That one. And also, and you mentioned tight ends, and I wanted to give proper respect to a fallen tight end, and you know where I'm going with this, fellas.
Yes.
Gavin Escobar, man.
Escobar, rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace. Unfortunate rock climbing situation, so I did want to, that made the news rounds for the week, so I did want to incorporate that into the show, and so man, rest in peace to Gavin, man.
Absolutely.
Very unfortunate, 31 years old.
31, man, that's too young, bro.
Too young, man. That's crazy. But yeah, I didn't want to put a somber mood on the show, man. But I had to give respect there.
Absolutely.
But yeah, Rich, what do you think about that dual tandem system that's going forward? I know y'all look late. Boy, looking like a young Isaac Hayes.
You damn right.
Yeah.
What you think?
I said, so what are you thinking about that tandem? Well, we knew they're going to be in tandem, but the implementation of us relying heavier on that Thunder and Lightning Zeke and
that's what we talked about this week 1. He said, regardless of what the situation is with Dak or whatever, we should have been doing this anyway. Because we already know we got flaws with the offensive line. We know for sure we got pass problems. The easiest thing for an offensive lineman to do is take the guy in front of him and move forward, i.e. run blocking. So it's always easier when you and then schematically, I don't know what I didn't pay much attention to what type of blocking scheme, but I mean, no, you gotta tailor your blocking scheme also to your personnel. If we need to go to a wrong blocking scheme, it's so needed. But yeah, to your point, we definitely. I love Marshall's comment I saw earlier. Absolutely, the defense is by far.
Yes.
No question. Not just Michael. There was some other contributions last week. Some of the other guys on the line, of course, Dave got his first season. The coverage has been pretty good. They've actually did a great job last week. So they definitely continue to praise for that. But absolutely, we need to lean on the run game. And I think also it's been pretty clear so far that Tony Pollard has really stood shine in that, given the opportunities that he has. So we just need to hey, like I said, had a conversation with Zeke. Say, hey man, we're gonna try to do the best we can to make you look good for next year. So you get you a job. Are you out of here for this year? Just play ball with us. and we'll help you maybe go to the Browns or something, go back to Ohio or some shit. I don't know, but figure out a way to make it work.
You ain't gotta go home.
You won't be here
for the rest. And I want to say this. Go ahead, Darren. I feel like you're about to chime in.
Yeah, just real quick, Cliff. I touched on this in week 1, referencing the 14 season when they completely hitched their wagon to Marco Murphy, and he had the monster year. And that was actually almost the best year. But the 1,800-yard season, man, and I thought that they could do a little bit of this year with this duo. And man, I'm telling you, if they continue to do this, they're gonna find success.
We got a little feedback.
Yeah, I see that.
Right, I think we're okay now. All right, go
ahead.
Okay,
Zeke is still really effective with those dirty runs, man. Short yardage, he's still running hard, he's still finishing runs. I love the yin and yang, if you will, of that power, physical run game of Zeke, and then that change of pace, and could hit it at any time, explosive game of Tony Pollard, man. And I think if they stay with this, and I think it's going to be incumbent upon the B to stay with that, man, and not let himself romanticize like, oh, I can open it up a little bit because I got Dak. Now stay with that. Stay with it. Because I think it makes Dak more effective. I mean, we've actually seen this book work before. It worked beautifully in Romo's last year as a full-time starter with DeMarco Murray. That shit worked great. Do it again. But guess what? The defense is better than that defense. So I think there's even an opportunity here.
That's an understatement.
Hell yeah.
That's an understatement. And you know what? In the defense is, I mean, we know the reason. Micah is every bit plus 10 on top of what we thought he would be last year at this time. God damn. I just was expecting him just to taper off. I'm like, because the normal Cowboy bullshit. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, all right, there's no way this guy can keep his trajectory up. And golly, he just keep on exceeding expectation every week. Yeah. Good God. Like, I don't get it. But we can talk about him. We can get to the defense in a moment. I do, since we're talking offense. So what are we thinking so far about the rise of young Smith and then Peters on the O-line, man? It seems like they're going to figure it out.
It's time. I'm ready for Tyron Smith to go away permanently right now. You don't even need to come back, man. Just take your salary and go home and stay home. We good. We are good. He has stepped in and has done way better than any of us could have expected, and he's only going to get better. I think we found our left tackle. Let's just get on his back and move forward. And Jason Peters, Jason Peters has been a great addition so far. In short samples, he's come in and done an outstanding job also. And I'm pretty sure he's an asset from a leadership, locker room perspective, film room, and all that. So that was a great pickup, man. Y'all stop sleeping on those 40-something-year-old dudes, man.
Hey, no, seriously. And that pick it came off so, people did us like they did. I think your mic is giving feedback. I'm going to mute you, Rich. People laughed at our pick from Travis Frederick, man. Like, it's damn near like it's that all over again. Yeah. Like, you can say what you want to say about the front office in general, but goddamn it, we hit on our draft picks, especially on the line. Now Tyler Beard, the jury's still out, but I mean, that looking like a hell of a pick, man. So kudos to the front office on that for doing that. And I want to read Pendleton's comment. So D Brown said again, like you said before week 2, CD needs to catch the ball.
What up, Penn? You're right.
Let's guarantee that in the NFL, every possession is critical. Yes. CD went from shit to sugar in that game, and boy, he owed us that one-hand grab. He owed us that because Lord have mercy.
He got the TD beforehand. The easiest TD catch he probably would have this year. And that's and to Penn's Penn's statement. And shout out to my boy Penn, WT White Longhorn in the building. I mean, to be that guy, and to live up to the 88 mantra. I mean, part of the 88 mantra is the consistency. you knew when that number was called, production was going to happen. The play was going to get made, from Drew to Mike to Dez. And I mean, that's just the standard. I mean, if you're wearing that number and you around here and that number one guy, that's the play you got to make. But now, like you said, Cliff, he did a hell of a job making up for it. And to Penn's point, particularly when you got a Cooper Rush situation, the margin for error is greatly reduced.
Absolutely.
You got to maximize when you have the opportunity to make a play like that and get points on the board. Because that's where I thought the game against the Giants may have gotten away from it, because they drove the ball impressively early again, but they came away with field goals. And I'm like, that comes back to bite you when you've got your QB1 in. When you got QB2 in and those opportunities are not quite as plentiful, it's like, oh, damn. But yet again, that defense. Giving them opportunities, and then great job of being sticking with the run. And of course, those guys getting it done up front, those guys toting the rock like they need to. And getting – that's a big win. I don't care what anybody says. Is it put them in the playoffs? No. But when you bank early wins, you put the deposit down for when things get kind of funky later. And a win is a win is a win, and a division win is even more than that.
Absolutely.
So that's huge. And I think it's going to be the same mantra going into today. I mean, somehow, some way, do a lot of what you did last week, make plays where they can be made, and get another division win and get the 3-1 at the quarter pole, man, because 3-1 with 2 division wins already, that's a big deal. Don't care how you get to it, that's a big deal.
Because the Eagles ain't going nowhere, so we need to have the wins stacked up. So, yeah, with no starting quarterback, how's your boy Shannon like to say, we in the catbird seat, kind of, sort of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know where you got that from. It must be some old school shit. And shout out to Pendleton says, y'all have a 5-star show. Y'all break down every aspect of the game. Great show, cuz. Appreciate that,
man.
Appreciate that.
Lamb almost lost his parking spot.
Yeah. That's the parking lot spot. Yeah. Over there, bro. You park over there.
CD Lamb almost made me flip on him, bro. And I love the kid. And I'm just like, oh, yo. I will turn on you like a flapjack. You dropping passes.
There's some I saw a comment earlier about being referenced 85 different things. Talking about Noah Brown.
Yes,
Noah Brown has been more like Cedric Wilson was last year. A guy that's been around here now all of a sudden 5-6 years. I mean, he's been here at least 5. He was kind of a long shot to make the team when he got here because he was a late round pick. Made the team. They didn't, because he's kind of a bigger receiver, so they didn't know if they were going to have him with an H-back, kind of a tight end-ish type role. Lost a little weight. He just found a way to keep sticking around, and now he's getting opportunities, and he's making a play. And to Cliff's point earlier about the draft picks, there's another one, Cliff, that they hit on. And this is a late round, unsung guy. And now he's been forced into a role, and he's coming up big. So I wouldn't quite say 85 is 88. I will stop just short of that. But he's damn sure worthy of mention because he has been one real consistent piece from the season start. And
absolutely.
Yeah, and so I think, and you know what, it may even be more valuable if Gallup can get out there and do what Gallup does, open and stretch the field, give more opportunities to the guys underneath. He may be more valuable that way.
I wasn't clear on the reports. Did they say if Gallup's gonna play today? Because I heard that he was gonna step out because he didn't feel quote unquote mentally prepared.
Oh,
now if that's how that late because he took all the reps in practice.
Okay, because I know there were some reports that saying that he wasn't sure he was mentally ready. I'm like, my man, you just got a fat contract. If you're not mentally ready, you need to get your ass out to league.
Mind right. Get your mind right. Yeah, because they need it.
And I'll tell you what, that comment aside, it says he's active in a Dallas Morning News article 7 minutes ago. It said he's active, so we shall see. But as we know, Gallup is Dak's favorite receiver anyway, so thus going forward, You know, that'd be a great gift for Dak. And, you know, I'm sure Dak has some mental doubt going on in his mind as well. So that'd be good to have a familiar body out there. Because I don't know, him and CD just don't have that synergy. I don't know what it is, you know, but I don't know. But I know he liked throwing that ball to Gallup. So I'm looking forward to that being twofold.
Well, the guy's made plays for him. I mean, he's had an injury bug, but, you know, is there anything else? I mean, you know, when you find that receiver that you find that comfort level with, and you put the ball in the air, and you know the guy makes plays for you. And even was that Dez's last year? I mean, when Gallup came in, you know, Gallup was. That's a great point, Cliff. Gallup was Dak's guy. The dude would make plays. He would kind of grate me with, you know, dropping the routine ball and then go and make the spectacular catch, like the play he got hurt on. But he is a threat. He's a big time downfield threat. He is a playmaking guy, and he's a guy that's actually, I think his presence is going to do a lot of things across the board offensively. It's going to obviously stretch the field, give CD some more opportunities, tight ends underneath, but even that run game. Because now what you do is that safety. You can't cheat him up, you know, quite like that, because now you legit got a deep downfield threat to worry about. So Gallup's presence out there is huge, and even if he's not quite doing his thing early on, the fact that he's out there, it's got to bode well for this offense.
What they call it, Darren? They call it keeping the defense honest. So if you keep the defense honest, then you got a lot more room, more real estate to deal with. So, I mean, yeah, absolutely.
Speaking of 88, not to beat the drum on CD, because you guys know we were texting during the game. I said CD stands for constantly dropping.
Which is funny, by the way.
Right. But I think what he needs to do is he just needs to learn how to polish his game a little bit. Polish off those routes. So 88 needs to call 88 at 88. You need to call Drew Pearson, and you need to call Michael Irvin and say, hey, guys, look, sit down with me and look at this film. Show me what can I do a little bit better. Show me how to polish off these routes. Study your opponent's film, because every route that you run is not the same. Sometimes if you're running an under or an out route, you got to cut it off early. You got to know when to sit down. You got to know when to pick and pop. You got to know when to. I'm not a receiver, but I know that there are different ways that you run the same route tree. Jerry Rice is the master of this, of everyone. You evolve your game so that you look different on the field than you do on film, because they're studying you. Yeah. And when they learn about you, it's easier to defend you. And so that's the thing that I think he's missing, that's going to allow him to break out and become a true number one receiver. Mm-hmm. You got to be different, man. Every time they see you, he's like, damn, he got us again. Like Richard Sherman was talking about Megatron. It wasn't just about the size and the speed and the physical ability. It's like every time you see the guy, damn, I didn't see that on film. He caught me off guard every single time I played against him. And that's the kind of stuff that separates a talented receiver from a great receiver. So 88, pick up the phone and call 88 and 88 and get some work in.
Nuance, man. We talked about it.
Nuance, and it shows you're watching film, because you're watching film too to know how they're perceiving. Because you gotta, these cornerbacks are astute now. They watch film, so you gotta almost put your mind in their mind. Okay, they expect me to do this. I got something for that ass. You know what I mean? And so, he needs something in his game. And him being a younger guy, I'm sure that's not how he views it right now. He views it, I just need to get the ball more. And I hope he gets out of that mentality, to your point, because, that separates the greats from the good.
You know what, Rich, to your point about, which I thought was awesome, about about getting to that level of maturity in his game, that polish, that nuance like we're talking about. Yes, he could definitely call the 88 and 88. You know what else he could call? He could call his teammate from last year on the route running piece. Because say what you will, man, but Amari Cooper is an artisan when it comes to the route.
He's like Picasso and cleats.
Man, I'm talking about abuse people in mid-route with such immaculate footwork on route running. Because, Amari is fast, but he's not a burner. But, he would be so wide open. And then you go watch the replay and how he would just turn people, with where he would step and where he would cut. And when there was no wasted movement, there was no wasted energy, no nothing. Like that nuance that we talked about. So he could do himself some justice doing that. Before we skip to to Redskins, I got to ask a question for both of y'all on the Giants game. When Saquon broke that touchdown run, did you think the Cowboys, as president constructed, had the chops to go get that game on the road after Saquon broke that touchdown run in the second half?
No, because we kept flirting with scoring,
right?
During that little time, and I just was like, okay. How am I really like, what are we really made of? Rush, run game, finishing off drives. So I was very skeptical of us pulling out one more, and inversely, I was mad that we weren't capping off drives earlier.
Yep. Because
I knew they had one of them in them.
Yep.
I knew that. So when they got that big run off, I was like, shit.
Yeah, that was the one. Yeah, I thought the same. That's why I asked the question. I was like, they blew their chances early to maybe put a little doubt in, take them out of the game, and maybe take Saquon out of the game plan a little bit, and then he rips one off, and it's like, oh, damn. But then Cooper Rush,
he put it out.
I mean, say what you will, man, but the dude's got a little moxie to him, man. I mean, he
does.
I mean, he's not quite. You mentioned the freshman on varsity thing, which I like. But he's not quite deer in the headlight panic guy. I mean, they do a pretty good job of designing the plays and the throws that he's comfortable with, and he'll rip them.
I haven't seen him panic yet. He hasn't panicked yet. He looked awful in the preseason his whole career. He looked awful in the preseason. Yes, every time I was like, this dude sucks.
Yes.
So, I guess you put him on.
That's 2 games now where the adverse has happened in terms of like a scoring drive on the other end is like, oh shit. And you get in a situation where you're asking Cooper Rush to make plays, and I'll be damned if he doesn't come back and respond and do it. That's 2 games now. He's done that. So I mean, that says something for the dude right there, man. And I saw some clips online of D linemen, calling him Cooper Clutch. Remember Rich? I shot y'all that text like, brother, the sideline. I mean, if he's winning them over, there's something to that. Is it long term? No. But if that's a guy that can step out on the field for those 60 minutes and believe in, then you got a chance to win. And at the end of the day, that's all you're really talking about. Is how the hell do we get through these 60 minutes today?
So be it. Hey, go ahead, Rich. I know you were waiting.
Yeah, like I said, Dak Prescott makes too much money for there to be any type of semblance of a quarterback controversy in Dallas. Period. If he's not the guy, then I think this is a litmus test. If this guy could come from being one step away from being a Costco worker to getting an NFL contract, becoming a backup, becoming the guy that steps in an emergency, and he can get that locker room engaged and you can't, that means you're not a franchise quarterback.
Yeah.
Hey, and I'll tell you this. We're 13 deep, y'all, with listeners. You guys hit that like button. Let's get more people in here. I know y'all like this sensible Cowboy talk, man. We're going to give it to you straight with no chase on top of it. So I hope y'all appreciate it. If you like what's going on the channel, you also can hit that super chat. You can hit the Cash App on the bottom. Contributions help. I got a special thing. When y'all hit the channel up, I'm gonna bring dollar bill out, man. Everybody love dollar bill. So appreciate y'all as we proceed forward. So let's move the conversation forward. I saw a good question by Between the Game Sports. He said 1 to 10 hatred y'all have for the B when he decides to throw in a gimmick play. Darren, I'll let you go first. I know you love those.
How about 13? On a scale of 1 to 10, how about 13? I hate it, bro. And man, not only do I. Here's the thing. I'm not so much a fan of. I hate the gimmick play. I hate the lack of game feel when the gimmick play is you. When you go first and second down and you face with 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, and then you do the double reverse or the jet sweep play or whatnot, man, turn around and hand the ball off and get the first down. That's where my hatred for the gimmick play is like on ozone. I hate it. And Beav has a propensity to do that, man. It drives me crazy.
That's always been him though. It is. That's his DNA. And you know what? Me and you kind of disagree fundamentally on this, but I would say the most crystallized moment last week was when that 3rd and 1 and we ran that shit and we should have just We got cute, try to pass, and then we should have just ran that thing up the gut.
You're trying to win the game, man. I mean, you've come back. You've come back. You've done a great job coming back. You've taken the lead. You own the road in a division game. What are you doing?
Right.
You got away with it, but what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
The Bees play calling. You know what it reminds me of? You ever seen that clip of the dude who was a UFC fighter and he's dancing? And like he got away with it the first time. He jabbed the guy. He's like shimmying and shaking, and then he did it again and got kicked in the head and got knocked out. That's the beef.
Yeah.
You already won the fight. You already won it on points, but you're doing around dancing, doing some bullshit that you don't have no business doing. You got caught. You got knocked out.
Yeah.
And it's almost like you know he's gonna do it. So just run the ball, man.
Do it too damn much. Yeah, and that's I think he. Go ahead, Rich.
I said no need to be cute.
Yeah, agreed.
How do they win today?
Yeah,
Here's
so
the questions put forward.
I say we just keep our game strategy up. I mean, the Commanders are not a great football team. They, I used to be extremely high on Carson Wentz, but Carson Wentz is a beaten down man. And
We spent a minute and a half talking about how he's falling off like Pookie.
Man.
Bro, this dude was
an MVP candidate.
I know. I mean, I think there's no doubt. I think he wins it if he finishes that season.
Yeah.
I thought about Carson Wentz, man. It's like, wait a minute. All of a sudden, this dude is on team 3.
That's nuts.
He is on nobody's radar as a top quarterback. That was 4 years ago?
Yeah, about 4 years ago.
5?
Yep.
Eagles won the Super Bowl in what, 17?
Yep.
They won it in 19, I believe. No.
Right. With
18.
18.
Okay. His second or third year, whatever it was. I mean, like this dude was just skyrocketing and rightfully so. I mean, he was the injury happens, and he comes back, and it's he implodes on his team. They can't break the ship him out. Goes to Indy and fails miserably.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
and he hasn't had the greatest start in the world in Washington. It's like, man, what the hell happened to him?
They say the NFL stands for long, and that's exactly what it means. So I'm about to dip, but let me just real quick.
Go ahead.
The key today is to get pressure. Defensive line is already prepared to do that.
Yes.
I keep wanting to say Redskins, but the Commanders have offensive line issues. They have issues with protecting the quarterback, keeping them upright. So I think there's going to be a defensive piece today. That's the mission today. Run the football, don't get cute. Control the clock. Let the defensive line eat. Let Micah do his thing. Expect a big day from him today, and that's the key to victory. So I'm going to jet out, but I will actually give the dub today, and I'm going to go 17-13.
All right.
There you go. 17-13
That's
Cowboys.
17-13. Be safe out there, Rich.
Huh?
Yes, sir.
Listen, be safe out there, man.
Yes, sir. I'm out. How about like Tyron Smith off the active list?
I love it.
I'll see y'all next week.
Okay,
All
man.
right.
Peace up.
There's my man.
Well, if it's like Tyron Smith, we're not going to see you next week, actually. We're going to see you in a few weeks.
Right. Please don't do the Tyron Smith. We'd like to see you back, Rich. I think Rich makes a great point, Cliff. I think it's more of the same. I think a nice steady dose. Matter of fact, I'm not even mad if they up the dosage of the run game. And give that balance. Don't ask too much of Cooper Rush to make plays downfield. Even if Gallup comes back, man, don't take chances that aren't there. And let that defense eat. I mean, that defense, I thought Rich brought up a terrific point last week, and I think it's one that's going to be a recurring point all year. Is defense becoming the identity of this team? God, I hope so. Because I mean that, even when, like I said, when QB1 comes back, because that formula has won, and guess what, y'all? I mean, I know for the Cowboy fans in the chat, Clip, I know for you, damn sure for me, bro, it's been a long time. right now, my standards have been lowered to just getting to the NFC Championship game.
Yeah.
That's where it's gotten for me. Super Bowl, I'd be just getting. But what I'm saying is, through their misfortune with Dak Prescott getting hurt, and it's yet to be seen because we went at the quarter pole after today. But if they get to 3-1 and they suddenly discover through their misfortune that this is the formula that can take us where we've really been trying to go, especially since Dak became the starter, let that be the defining thing. I thought when Rich brought that up, it was awesome, man. If this defense is what defines this team, and I don't mind an expensive game manager, bro. I don't. If it wins football games, you've got the personnel to run the football. You've got a guy that can make the plays because when they've asked Dak to lean on him to make plays, he's got the ability to do it. But if he doesn't have to do it, i.e. Romo in 14, I'm good with that because I think, again, I'm gonna keep saying this, I think that scenario can play itself out much like it did. Different personnel execute a little bit differently with two backs instead of one. But I think you can do the same thing, and I think you have a better chance of playoff success because they can rush the quarterback, because they can get teams off the field like they could not do 7-8 years ago. And I think they got to stick with that, man. I think that wins the game today. I like Rich's prediction of 17-13. I'm probably a little bit stronger on them than that. I don't think it's a crazy blowout win, but I think more of a 24-13 type game.
Yeah, I think we're gonna beat the hell out of them. Actually, I think
I love I love demonstrative clip. No, I think we're gonna beat that. I love it
because I've been lowballing our team the last 3 weeks.
No, we all have
my predictions.
Yeah. I mean,
this team is the worst of what we played so far. So I think we beat the hell out of them. I'm talking 35. 31-13-ish. I think they pulled a touchdown out of their ass, but it's gonna be some field goal kicking going on for the Commanders. That's for damn sure. I saw this question is kind of apropos what you were saying about how you got to adjust to like you temper your expectations for this football team, and you're right. I mean, now I wouldn't say in public Super Bowl, but somewhere back in my mind, I'm like, hey, man, it's a chance, goddammit. And to be candid, 2 years ago, we had this conversation. We talking about, do we go for Earl Thomas? Because Earl maybe could have taken us over that defensive hump that we had. So this team will do that to you. But, yeah, they've beaten me into submission. I don't go around saying we win the Super Bowl. So to your question, Nico, how does one stay a Cowboy fan? The best way is to be realistic. Be realistic, because if you fall into the abyss that is, and you know what, we actually make a separation on the show. We call it being a fan versus an affiliate.
That's a real separation.
We and like Wakanda, we don't do that here. So
yeah,
we don't do the taper fade with the acid stonewash jeans with the J's to match. We don't do that here. So. No. That's how you become and stay a Cowboys fan, that you got to separate. You have to, because to your point, there's so many bogus Cowboy fans, we call affiliates out here, and they will frustrate the hell out of you. They will frustrate the hell out of you because it's the same old him and Han saying dumb stuff. So, man.
I love that explanation, Cliff. I'll extend that by saying it's understanding that because of the team's history, the expectation here outweighs reality a lot.
Yep.
And when you understand that and embrace it and not set yourself up for what's been, because the consistency here the last 12 to 15 years for certain has been inconsistency. It's like you're expecting the harder, and as much as I cannot stand screaming A. Smith, part of his rhetoric is that you're waiting for the other shoe to drop. You're waiting for something to happen. Now, some of it they can't control. Those things happen. like the Dez thing, and they've had some questionable calls here and there in critical moments in playoff games that could have gone one way or the other. Those things happen. If you make plays in other parts of the game, then they don't come into play. So it all balances out. But that's just, how do you stay one? You gotta have thick skin.
Yes, absolutely.
You gotta have thick skin.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, because you're gonna take a lot of justified heat, because the Cowboys gonna give you that. But if you have those two things, if you have a thick skin and an understanding that a lot of times, because of their history, because of the profile of the franchise, the expectation outweighs the reality on the field.
And that just said perfectly.
yeah. Then and that somewhere this thing will break, it will fall, and they will play for one yet again. Now, I will, as a true fan, I will fear this. When that day does come, and it will come, when that day does come, what I will hate most is the I mean, I'm gonna be hyped as hell. Don't get it twisted. But the over exuberance of the affiliate, it's probably gonna dull that for me a little bit. But that's a good problem to have, because that means they actually did something. So I'll take it.
First world problem.
That's the best way I can describe about how you become one, how you stay one. That's a great question, by the way.
Yeah. No, it is. Now, I was just waiting to work it into what we was talking about. But yeah, no, that was a good question, Nico. I don't know if you're trolling, but it was a good question. And guys, hit the subscribe button to our official channel. We're gonna start streaming on there as well, and eventually get there just exclusively. So the Straight No Chaser Cowboys podcast, you see in the chat right there. So make sure you guys subscribe to that one as well. We addressed this earlier. Why can't CD catch easy passes? We don't
focus.
know. Focus. We'll go with that.
Immaturity.
Lack of attention to detail, because he dropped a big one. He got it back for us, obviously, times two. But if he caught that one that Cooper delivered beautifully over the middle, like we wouldn't be worried about that Saquon situation. Let's put it that way. And Dipper Bank says over under Dallas 125 rushing. I'm taking the over.
Yeah,
over
like over there.
I'm taking over.
If Beeve sticks to close to what he did last week on the road against the Giants, oh yeah, yeah. And put it like this: and over 125 combined Zeke Pollard production, Dallas wins this game, to Cliff's point, going away.
Yeah,
because that means they control the ball, they control the clock. If they punch in the end zone, then yeah, that's a Dallas win. So I like the over on that, and because I think the over is a strong Dallas win.
Yeah, I'm taking that too. Yeah, well, I said already, but yeah. So I don't see why we don't. I don't know what the Commanders can do. It sounds so weird even saying that. I don't know what they can do to stop what we have been doing to better teams. I just don't see it. Right. I don't see it, so I'm taking over. Byron Pendleton says, same reason why the NFL envy the Cowboys. I mean, that is what it is. You know what you signed up for. Well, so again, I figured you asked that question in jest, but at the end of the day, listen, man, when you pull up the Nielsen numbers, the Cowboys are America's team, not because we have the most wins, not because we're the most Super Bowls, because we have the most viewership. We got the most affiliates, as we talk about on here.
Yeah.
So
the numbers are what they are, man.
Listen,
and that's an understanding of a fan too, because I mean, whether you hate them, love them, it's the biggest game on your team's schedule if Dallas is on your schedule. Period. End of report. They could be 0 and whatever. If Dallas is on your schedule, that's the biggest game your team is going to play that year.
How Jay-Z saying, Nets could go 0-82. I look at you like this shit gravy. That's how it is. Like, how else are we still in the A block on Undisputed? I know Skip Bayless is a Cowboys fan, but he could not pull that off if people didn't watch.
When he and comment and everything else. Right.
And they would scrap that out the A block like I couldn't come up with an analogy fast enough, but it wouldn't be that guy, dog.
No. It wouldn't, man. I mean, it is what it is, bro. Let's see. Cowboys keep one of the backup. Will they go back to Prescott? Yes.
They better.
Yes. Rich said it earlier before he jetted for the day. Cooper Rush, and I've used the backup. I've used the relief pitcher analogy. Yeah, man, when you go with a relief pitcher for too long, like I said, he's given us 2 strong innings.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and the long relief guy, you know, because you have the PM scouting report. You know, if he goes more than 4 innings, he gets out in deep water and he gets exposed and gets in trouble. All right. And his other side of the Cooper Rush success, for those of you that don't quite understand this, the more film he puts out, the more teams can prepare.
Exactly.
So, no, we're not sticking with Cooper Rush when Dak Prescott comes back. We will shake Cooper Rush's hand. I'll buy him a beer. I'll pick up his tab.
Yeah.
But I will gladly escort his ass back to the bench for number 4. Thank you very much. I appreciate everything you've done. And go Cowboys.
Straight up. And Bernie Mac had a great analogy to that. He's like, hey, I'm about a 50 pump kind of guy.
Absolutely.
After 50, I ain't got nothing for you. So just apply that analogy.
Well, my man said, count if you ain't got nothing better to do.
It's a very Bernie Mac friendly show over here. We run. Rest in peace, Bernie Mac. And Nico says, I tried to hate too much. I just want to understand. I can't talk. I'm a Titans fan, never won shit, and they running back Derrick Henry career. Running back who could rush for 2,000 yards, 3 separate occasions. Well, no, it's, you know, we don't even take it that way because we don't like Cowboy fans either over here. Well, Cowboy affiliates. We've drawn a line in the sand a year ago, and we are not to depart from that line. So if you were one of these, and I know it looks like a Hispanic brother in this picture, but trust me, this meme is transracial. When you see him walking around with that thing on, to me that's the red coat army.
Yes, sir.
You are the enemy.
So accurate too.
Because if you talk to these people, and listen, and I say this affectionately, because I'm that guy who used to go to games when I lived in Dallas. I used to go to every game. I would be in AT&T Stadium arguing with Cowboy fans. I was that guy. And, you know, I had a little sauce in me too. So when I just hear the dumb stuff some people will say, I'm like, you really drove up here to the stadium, and you will find out that they're not from Dallas, or they're from like way out in Texas. And they come to me, I'm like, you spent all that gas and driving, and that's your opinion about Dak Prescott? You saying that he sucks and we need to go get Romo again? Like, what? What the hell are you talking about? Like, where have you been?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And like when the game starts to get away from us, they're talking about, man, Dak need to do this. I'm like, dog, do you not see on 3rd and short, we're getting penalties to push us back? Do you not see when we 3rd and short on the defensive side, we're tackling dudes out of bounds and getting a penalty, and now their drive starts back over? Like, what are y'all looking at? And in particular, the Minnesota Vikings game is what I'm referencing. When I was really getting into it with the Cowboys. I'm like, what are you looking at, bro?
His finest hour.
Dak played his ass off that game.
One of his finest hours. Yeah, it was a hell of a way. He played his ass. Yeah. I remember that game well.
So, yeah, we ain't got no love for the Phillies over here either, man.
None.
And I got trench work on that, and I'm sure you do too. Yeah, so at any rate, as we land the plane on the show, you guys have been awesome in the chat. This is about the best I've seen, and I appreciate that. Yes, sir, facts. Cowboy fans get on my nerves. That's why I love this show. Y'all keep it 100. I appreciate it. I know they do, because I live in California. These dudes are, oh, my God. I'm like, man, we are not the same, man.
No.
We are not the same.
Penn, we got love on Radio Row because of this stance from non-Cowboy fans. Like, they were like, bro, y'all might be the real Cowboy fans we have come across. Like,
that's not conjecture. That's fact.
yeah, real talk. I mean, we got love from like avowed non-Cowboy fans.
Like D'Angelo Williams, for example.
D'Angelo Williams was like, bro, y'all are the realest, and he hates the Cowboys. Hates it. So we're gonna stick with it, man, because that's what it is. We position ourselves as real fans. Cliff, do we have a lucky award?
Yes, I'm over here scrolling for the picture now.
Hey now.
All right. The Lucky Whitehead Award, the y'all's favorite part of the show, our favorite part of the show. I'll go first. I will give it to our boy Turpin because he's starting to get his legs under him. And he broke, one nice one, one decent one. Mm-hmm. And he's providing a new element for our inept offense that is permeating. It's how they say it's percolating. So he's finally getting comfortable. And so, hey, keep kicking that dude the ball if you want to. And you about to watch the does, like Martin say. So he gets my Lucky Whitehead award for last week.
That's a good one, man. I am going to. You know what? That's actually who I had in mind, man, because he was. I think we kind of unified on that one because he was literally a great play from I think it was the punter from Housing One last week.
Yeah.
But like you said, man, he's given Dallas an element that was not just poor; it was non-existent. After Dwayne Harris left, and that all of a sudden that was a really long time ago.
Yeah.
Dwayne Harris left for free agency, got paid by the Giants.
Yep.
Like they had no return game.
Yep.
To speak of until now. That was 2017.
Yeah.
I mean, that's since Dwayne Harris left. I mean, he was a great coverage guy, but he was excellent in the return game. If you think about it, they have no return game to speak of, and this dude has provided that. Now, our man Pollard did give us some moments, obviously, last year, but you really want to count on Pollard to be like the full-time specialist, if you will, guy, because he obviously had some big moments in the return game last year. So
agreed.
But I mean, this dude Turpin, man, I think he gives them a field position element. He gives Dallas the third element of something to worry about. That was a complete no concern for many years here. So last week's Lucky, yeah, I got to give it to Turpin too, man. The little guy he's a spark plug. He's that guy. I think he gonna house one here before too long.
Oh, he gonna house it. He gonna figure it out.
He gonna house one here before too long, man. That dude gets his face, bro. He's like, oh, he gone. Oh, he's gone. Yeah.
No doubt. Shout out to Byron again, man.
I appreciate that, man. I'll take that.
Man. Byron, if you know somebody who's looking for a great podcast to pick up, man, send them our way, man, because we're going to bring that heat every week. Whether it's 10, whether it's 20, whether it's 1,000 people in here, we're going to bring that heat every week.
We're going to bring it.
And we're going to hold frame. We're not going to sit here and be affiliates. We're not going to sit here and rah-rah. Like, if we go on a 10-game winning streak, we're going to still critique it how we see it. We're not going to start bringing the pom-poms out like we're going to win a Super Bowl. So I appreciate that. I'll answer a few spitballs, and we're going to do score predictions. Well, I think we did that already, but then we'll land the plan on the show.
No doubt.
Do we believe the Cowboy narrative that Parsons is the best defender in the league? I'll tell you what. I'll go first. I never said that. And that's a lot to sift through. That's a whole bunch of defensive beasts to sift through. So I won't say that. Will I say he's one of the best? Absolutely, with no trepidation. But is he the best? It's the subjectivity of that is so great right now, and he's not separate himself for me to say that definitively. So I'm going to say no for the time being.
I'll echo that no, but I also, to Nico's question, I don't think that's a Cowboy fan narrative per se. I've not really heard that much. You'll have an affiliate thing out there because he wears a star and he makes the plays that he makes. No, he's not the next Lawrence Taylor. He's the first Micah Parsons.
Hey.
Let that man be what he is, which is an emerging young superstar. This dude is about to play in Game 4 of his second season. He's done huge things in his rookie year. He started off the campaign of his second year off very, very strong. Let that man evolve on his own merit.
There we go.
And like I said, when the season started, after the monster game against Tampa, really from the very outset, he's becoming, and I've used that word judiciously, he's becoming that guy. He's becoming a guy that's a constant where if he's on the field, he's going to make difference-making plays, like a Lawrence Taylor, like a J.J. Watt, like a Reggie White, like a Derek Thomas, like a DeMarcus Ware, who wore the Cowboy helmet before him, who he's actually reached out to and gotten some tutelage from. Great place to get tutelage from, by the way, the great DeMarcus Ware. So I think he's becoming that guy. Is he unequivocally the best? No, there's a lot of guys can lay claim to that. Like to Cliff's point, I don't think you can get to, if you're going to talk about best defender in the league, I don't think you can get to because everybody loves lists. I don't think you can get to guy 8 through 10 before you get to his name.
Yeah.
He's in that conversation.
Yeah.
I think he's 2 years away from being unequivocally the best in the league.
And I'm gonna hold him to the same standards I hold other guys. Like, for example, Aaron Donald had a lot of criticism for not performing in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Micah, I haven't seen him in that element, so I'm not gonna leapfrog him over guys who got over a proverbial hump and have performed in the biggest situations. Micah, in short bursts, has been playing with house money, and that's not his fault. He only can control where the team is at. But when it's time, I just want to see how he performs, and when the stakes are higher. Say he loses a few linemen and he steps up and just starts to take over the field. Then I have a better body of work to know what he is all the way around. Right. And I can give you a real opinion because, contrary to popular belief, we got a good defense beside him. We got a lot of good guys out there.
Yeah,
and that's what we've been beating the table over for about a good 5-6 years. Of like, dog, why y'all not showing up these positions? Hell, we did a whole stream. We ain't talk about Trayvon Diggs, who's figured it out again.
Starting to figure it out, yes, and that's a great thing. That's a great thing when you got a pass rush. So that's the whole complimentary piece because he's starting to figure it out. That pass rush is getting home. I still want to see him get a little stronger, more consistent in the run game.
Agreed.
But and you can't really down the squad for letting the Saquon Barkley get off because guess what? He's Saquon Barkley. Mm-hmm. That dude's gonna make plays. You give him enough touches.
Agreed.
But he did a good job for the most part of keeping him down. But that defense is becoming monster. To your point, Cliff, it's becoming a really really fun overall unit. Featuring Micah Parsons to watch. Quietly is kept because Micah Parsons grabs headlines. How about Lawrence? I think Lawrence is having a really solid year.
Yes.
Dorrance Armstrong.
He brought his name up the stream.
Yeah. DeMarcus Lawrence is having a hell of a year. Dorrance Armstrong's ball is getting it in. So these are guys, draft picks, by the way, to Cliff's earlier point. These are guys that just stepping in their roles, getting it done. I think they love playing for Dan Quinn. I think you see the comfort level in the scheme. Agreed. I think the understanding of the prospective roles is there, and guys are just playing. They're not thinking. They are playing free. They're playing understanding and knowing what they need to do. And I think they feed me off each other, man, because they are being disruptive. And we've not said that about Cowboys defense forever. Bend but don't break has been that mantra.
It's been the company line forever.
Yeah, exactly. Bend but don't break. If we could just hold them this play, now you're starting to see and have an expectation of a Dallas defense go out there to dictate, to be dominant, and dictate the situation. It's fun to watch. I hope they stick with that. I hope they continue to build on that, and that becomes their identity. To Rich's earlier point last week, because if this gets known as a dominant defensive football team that runs the ball well and has a quarterback that doesn't give it away, and that ends up into the ultimate success, then so be it. I'm here for it.
So be it. Man, and I can't top that. So, man, guys, hit the like button way out. Let's get more people to come.
Like it, love it.
There you go.
Talk about it.
Talk about it. Share the stream. And lastly, make sure you go subscribe to our official channel, Straight No Chasers Cowboys Podcast. Again, we're gonna angle to do them over there. I just got some email issues with that account, so I'm trying to figure that shit out on my free time. And as we should do, we've been slacking, man, to hit that.
Slacking, man. Well, we gonna catch up.
Let's go.
Right,
so as we
Straight
do,
No Chaser.
Straight No Chaser. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you next week.
Love y'all to death.
Out. Peace.
Shout out to Hoop Sharky, man. I'm gonna add you to the crew, man. This crew called Hoop Sharky. They've been getting at it, man. They the ones that's gonna grill you, man, because they majority are all Houston people. So that's
shout out to Hoop Sharky.
Man, I'm here with my man with hoop jargon, the best in the game, man. And I only let selected few in my circle. And this is the real dude right here. We gonna get down with the get